Welcome, beautiful people, to another episode of The Professional Fan. I am The Professional Fan, Professional Mike. Thank you so much for joining me. Wanted to do a quick episode today because we had some Browns news happen, which has led to a little bit more speculation. So we'll get into that here in a moment. But first things first, if you're new here, thank you so much for joining. Please like, subscribe, and share the content. And ding that notification bell if you are on YouTube, and be notified when we go live. So, to start, Browns news kind of broke today. We signed Mr. Tevin Jenkins, forgive me, who, as we can see right here, overall grade in 2024, 75.4, who's 15th among all guards, 74.3 run blocking grade, who's 20th among all guards, and a 75.8 pass blocking grade, which was 15th among all guards. He is a very, very good starting level guard. And believe it or not, I have been looking on Twitter constantly, refreshing to get the details of this contract, but unfortunately, the details haven't been made public yet. We just know that he's been signed. I only assume it to be a multi-year deal. You can see him there in some of these highlights with Senior Caleb Williams, but he is an excellent guard, all-around guard. And it kind of is a head-scratcher when you think about it. He came into the NFL as a tackle, former second-round pick. Only played about 150 snaps at tackle before he was moved to guard. The only besmirch, I guess you could say, against his career thus far is he has had some injury history. However, he's missed time he has missed time every single year since he's been in the NFL. However, last year with the Bears, he only missed about 2 games. He is an excellent player. But the head-scratcher is he's a starting caliber guard. I doubt they're bringing him in to see if he can play tackle again if he hasn't done that since his rookie year. And you have Joel Bitonio, who many believe Zach Zenner is going to take that job when Joel decides to retire. That's why you drafted him. And then at right guard, you have Wyatt Teller. They're not going to have him play center. They're not going to have him play right tackle. That's Jack Conklin and Lucas, who we just signed. And they're not going to have him play left tackle either. That's DeJuan Jones' job. So, begs the question, you now have 6 starting caliber offensive linemen and only 5 spots available. What's going on? Well, my headcanon is exactly that. Brandon Aiyuk to Cleveland. The 49ers have had just a bad free agency all around. I mean, it looks like they're going into soft rebuild mode, and they did lose one of their star guards. And the guards are honestly, they're almost more important than the quarterback in San Francisco when you think about it, because it's so run game focused and it's so focused on having athletic pulling guards that you almost need one for the Kyle Shanahan offense to succeed. And Wyatt Teller, who has had up and down years the past couple years in Cleveland, certainly not what he was in 2020 and 2021. However, he's still a very solid guard, especially when it comes to pulling. That maybe this was a preemptive signing from the Browns to send Wyatt Teller and some draft capital to San Francisco for Brandon Aiyuk. And we'll find out if that's the case relatively soon, because they have to trade him before April 1st is when all of his money hits. But that is my headcanon. I'm going to bring up my boy. You know him. You love him. He's the main man. Joseph Latman. I'm going to make him bigger. There we go. Yes. There we go. Perfect. Now we're even. But yeah, Joseph, I mean, that's been my headcanon. I really think it's a possibility. What's your thoughts on all this jazz?
Yeah, I saw some of the Wyatt Teller smoke today for Aiyuk. We've seen the Aiyuk stuff for a while. And it's funny, you texted me at like 5 and said, I'm telling you, I think we're going to trade Teller to San Francisco for Aiyuk. And then literally like an hour later, we signed Tevin Jenkins. So my thoughts on Tevin Jenkins is, as you can see there on that highlight, he's a starting caliber guard. He only gave up 4 sacks last year. Was pretty good. I mean, I thought in terms of the rankings was pretty high, and a lot of rankings for the amount. I mean, how did he start all the games last year? I don't think he did.
He started when he was in there, but like I said, he only missed 2 games. But he was starting when he was in there.
Yeah. So I think he was pretty solid considering the situation last year too. The rookie quarterback. He only gave up 4 sacks. I think he's a starting caliber guard. I think you watch this here, and I played interior, and right there, great job finishing the block. Keeps going too. You rewind that right there. He doesn't quit on the plays. That's a high motor. That's somebody that finishes his blocks. A lot of guys, average guys, they don't finish their blocks. He does. And you can see right here, good hand placement, good balance, and takes that guy out. Then he keeps moving though, and it just a nasty, violent block there. Absolutely, just basically, look at that. I mean, absolutely, basically blindsides him, and so. Nice little crack block there. But that's what I like about this guy. And from a guard, you can see he can move laterally. He's 6'6", big dude, 6'6", like 3 something. He can move laterally, he can move vertically, and he has good hand placement, good balance in his in a drop, in his base, and he's nasty too, and he finishes the blocks. And I like the guys that finish blocks and keep moving even after their blocks over. They keep moving. You don't just stand still with your head up your ass. I think him with Mike Bloomgren would be a really good marriage. I reached out to somebody recently who's one of the top offensive line developers in the entire country. Played in the NFL, played offensive line and D line in the NFL, and he told me, he said Coach Bloomgren's a kick-ass coach, and just raved about him, loved him, and so. I think him with Coach Bloomgren is going to be a good marriage. And I'm with you. When I right into this guy, I watch his highlights, I'm like, man, he's a legit starter. And I think he could definitely play right guard, left guard. If you need to put him at tackle, I'm sure he can do it. But he's definitely, I think his skill set I think he's doing really well at guard, especially in the run game. Because you can see there a guy like that likes to make blocks like that. That's a lot of run game blocking. It's just effort and just being able to maul somebody in front of you. It's a car accident every play. So
yeah,
I think he'll be just fine at guard in this system with the wide scheme zone we run in, and his athletic ability at 6'6", what he's shown there, looked pretty athletic to me. I think he's definitely a starting guard. And like you said, you still got Joel coming back. Well, you're not going to sit Joel. Obviously, he's a franchise. He's older now, but he's been one of your franchise pieces for a while. Arguably a future Hall of Famer. So you're not sitting him. Obviously, you're not going to sit, or you're not going to put in Zinner at guard yet, because I think he's got to come off the injury and get right. Still, he'll probably play left guard once Joel leaves. So it begs a difference. Why would you bring this guy in? And I agree with you. I think White, Teller to San Francisco, and I think Andrew Berry might have pulled off. Wasn't San Francisco interested in this guy?
Yes, they were actually. They were in talks with him, and then we kind of pulled out the rug there.
Yeah, I mean, that if this pulls off to be the trade, I mean, what a baller move. I got to give Andrew Berry props if he's able to pull this off, because we, as much shit as I give him at times, a lot of people do, and I think some of it's fair criticism, obviously, but that's a great chess move. He pulled that off. Like, hey, we don't know if we want to trade Aiyuk. Well, but we really need a guard in the interior, like you said, help our scheme and our system. We need a guard. We like this guy, Tevin Jenkins, but so what does he do? He goes out and signs Tevin Jenkins for them. It's like now you need to take Wyatt Teller, bud. Because I don't think why would you pay Aiyuk that kind of money? I mean, I don't think San Francisco's to be a good team next year, anyways. It doesn't know what it looks like. I don't think they'll be terrible, but I mean, they lost Debo, they lost. Who else did they lose? They lost somebody else.
I mean, they lost Debo. They lost 2 starting offensive linemen, 1 a tackle, 1 a guard. Yeah. They lost their right guard specifically.
I mean, they lost a lot. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say they'll be bad next year.
They lost Malik Collins.
Yeah,
to us as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying they'll be bad, but I don't think they'll be as good. But who knows? I mean, you never know. But
they lost Javon Hargrave.
Yeah, I mean, they lost a good amount. So
Funga.
yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God. When I sat down and think about it, their
Did they
team
lose their
is
safety too?
Funga signed with the Broncos, 4-year deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've lost a good amount. I just don't see, and I don't think Brock Purdy's a long term answer. I know they're going to
I
pay him.
think if they thought that too, he would have been signed by now.
Yeah, I don't think Brock Purdy. I mean, we saw him in the Super Bowl. And he was part of the reason they lost the Super Bowl because he couldn't make simple reads in the middle of the red zone. But nice story. But I don't think he's a. I wouldn't pay him that kind of money. But in all saying that, and saying all that though, I think the trade makes a lot of sense for both teams. They need a starting right guard. We could use Brandon Aiyuk. And so I think this trade will happen. They're not going to pay him. They're not going to keep a guy like that on long term with that kind of money. It doesn't make sense for them. For us, it does. We need a number two. So you got Jerry Jeudy, who showed what he can be. Now you need a Brandon Aiyuk to play complementary to him, and then maybe you'll probably draft a guy. You still got Tillman, maybe Jamari Thrash. Maybe we'll show some. I don't know, but you at least got 4 there. So with the guy you draft, so I think this trade makes a lot of sense. And I got another take on this, but I'll turn it back to you. I'll give here whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Oh, no, go keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm
so
all ears.
Mike and I talked a little bit earlier on the phone, and I told Mike what I think they could be up to, what they could be doing here. And here, actually, I'll start. Actually, right to cue something up. So, as I'm trying to cue this up, let me ask you a question. Then, what's your thoughts on the draft right now with this move? Does this move implicate anything to you?
Yeah, I mean, if we trade for Aiyuk, I mean, and we are making sure like we trade for Aiyuk, and it's like if we traded for Aiyuk and traded away Wyatt Teller, and we were just going to roll with a bridge guy, I really feel like we wouldn't have made it like a concerted effort to find another, not only like starting caliber guard, but like a good starting caliber guard, like top 15 guard. It's a little head scratching if it was just a bridge guy. Like if it was a bridge guy, I'd expect them to like plug Zach Zinner in, or like, a Michael Dunn or someone like that. It seems to me with this move, and if they do get Aiyuk, that they're preparing for a rookie quarterback and trying to make them as comfortable as possible. A starting rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I can see that. Here, I'm 50-50 on what I think they're going to do still. I think they might be 50-50. I don't think I don't think they're made up on what they're going to do either. But in saying all that, I'm going to play this clip real quick. A lot of you guys saw this last week. Mary Kay Cabot, who obviously is probably the most plugged in Browns reporter there's been for the last how many years, maybe forever. But she had an interesting take last week, and I want to play this again, what she would do in the draft. And I think she says some things out of some validity because obviously she's pretty plugged in and pretty calculated, in my opinion. So I'm going to hear it. Let's hear what she has to say here, what she would do.
I'm putting on my GM cap today, and I'm going to make a trade. I'm taking Shedeur at number 2. I'm going to do the obvious right thing there. I'm going to take Shedeur, and I'm going to roll with it and see how it goes. But then I'm trading back into the end of the first round with my second round pick and some other things, and I'm taking Tyler Shough. I'm taking 2 quarterbacks in the first round. If Shedeur, for whatever reason, isn't exactly what you thought he was going to be, then you have someone else that you can develop and try there. He's getting so much buzz and so much run lately, and I watched him at the Senior Bowl. I'm totally intrigued by him. In my mind, that's a win-win situation. You cannot lose by doing this. Lose.
All right. Now,
the latter part, she's smoking crack. But other than that.
All right. So here's my take on all that. She really turned a lot of heads with that. And shout out to her. But the name she brought up there was Tyler Shough. Right? Tyler Shough, 6'5", big dude, big arm. You watch his tape in college. He can make a lot of his throws from the far hash to the other sideline. raw on the money, and they weren't losing air on him. And that's important when you watch tape and college guys, because remember the hash marks in the NFL are more center or more closed in. So that means the throws in college are actually longer you have to make. And so I like Tyler Shough a lot. I think you can make the argument he's the second best quarterback in this class. I get the injury history with the kid. That's definitely a concern when you look at his medical history and what they feel about that. But I think in the landscape of quarterbacks nowadays, you look at the Bo Nixes of the world, you look at a lot of the guys that come in the NFL now, Jaden Daniels. These guys played an ass load of games in college, and they're a little older now. I mean, Bo Nix is 25. Tyler Shough is 25. A lot of his career's been delayed. He's won the starting jobs at a couple places, and he just got injured. Freak accident injuries. Nothing he could do about it. It wasn't because of his play. He won the starting job everywhere he went. I think when you look at him and you look at the guys who have the most experience, who are older now, who are a little more developed, I think that's more important nowadays when you're getting a quarterback, because I think as bad as the quarterbacks are developed coming up nowadays, and it's not their fault, especially in college, they're looking at the sidelines, looking at signs now, getting their plays. Nobody plays under center as much. Everything's it's just the quarterback development is just not great. It's at an all-time low, in my opinion. Furthest from what it used to be. We think because guys now can throw off with 1 foot and throw it down the field, that makes them a good quarterback, but it doesn't. You still have to process information. You have to be able to make reads. You have to be able to use the right footwork in the pocket. You have to sit in the pocket. You have to be able to deliver the ball on time and the right ball placement. A lot of different things. When I watch this Tyler Shough kid, Mike, this kid can make just about any throw. He can make every throw on the field, and there's things he does that Cam Ward and Shador can't do. And there's things that he does. I mean, when you turn on this guy's tape, when you a lot of people have said, like Sean Kane, a lot of people that evaluate quarterbacks for a living that play quarterback professionally, and people I trust. And I mean, you watch the kid's tape, you're kind of like, what's there not to like? And then people look at his stats and say, well, he only threw for 20-something touchdowns. Well, okay, well, he played. If you watch college football, he played at Louisville. Louisville's not the I like their coaching staff and what they have now. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but it's not the most. A lot of games are outmatched. You know what I mean? So I don't really pay attention to that as much with college stats and stuff. I mean, you can go look at a lot of guys' college stats. Tom Brady wasn't the greatest college quarterback.
No.
Well, how did he turn out in the pros? Pretty damn good. So I don't really pay attention to that a whole lot. I mean, some of it you do, but a lot of it I don't, a whole lot. So I look at that. I look at his size, and he can make every throw. And he played for Jeff Brom, who's one of the better quarterback developers in the country. His OC was a former NFL player, one of the best quarterback developers in the country as well. Or really not just in the country, in the sport. And you go ask anybody about Coach Brom, even people I know that are in college football, they'll even tell you Coach Brom and the OC, they're some of the best quarterback developers in the entire sport. And they develop guys for pro level too. When you watch this kid's tape, his mechanics, like when he rolls out of the pocket going left, he keeps 2 hands on the ball, how you should. He's right-handed, so when he throws, rolling out, he made a lot of throws rolling out left. He throws off the right foot, left foot, right hand. And so it's good balance. So the throws, it's on target, on time, and in a straight line as possible. A lot of players nowadays don't do that, little things like that, which I don't like. And so, because I think at the NFL that'll really cost you. And so, the Brom brothers, Jeff Brom and Brian Brom. And so, great coaches, great quarterback developers in the entire sport. And so, in saying all that with Tyler Shough, if you acquire Brandon Aiyuk, right, and let's say you don't see much, I think Tyler Shough would run Stefanski's offense perfectly. Just like we saw Flacco, bigger guy, big arm, could sit in the pocket. He can move around too. He ran a 4.6 at the combine, so he's not slow in athleticism. Can make every throw. I would think maybe right now when she's pointing out Tyler Shough, and you see a lot of the latest mocks recently have the Browns taking Abdul Carter. If you get Brandon Aiyuk, right, and you're at 2, you're not taking a quarterback at 2. I would probably go with Abdul Carter, because I'm not. If you view Travis Hunter more as a receiver, well, you just brought in Aiyuk. You still got Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, both would be long term too.
Be long term. I don't think you would bring in Travis Hunter, and I have no problem with him bringing in Abdul Carter. I made the comparison the other day. He reminds me a lot of what Jermaine Johnson was coming out of college, which I don't think Jermaine Johnson's a great player. I think he's a little better in certain ways. He's a lot quicker. His closeout speed is unbelievable. I haven't seen a prospect in a while with that kind of closeout speed and tackling. It just
impressive bend too.
Bend, but just sideline to sideline, the way he covers. I'm like, the more I watch his tape, I watched his tape more this week because I didn't really have to get. He's actually, I'll be honest, he's the last guy I've watched out of a lot of top guys because I knew he was going to be up there. But so I got to really watch him more this week, and I read more about him. And I mean, him with Myles Garrett, my gosh, I don't know how teams are going to. And you look at what won the Super Bowl just now; it was a great defensive line,
right?
Every year.
Yeah, and with Denzel Ward still on the team, I mean, you still expect to pick a safety at some point. I mean,
you got Malik Collins you just threw in the middle. You still got Mike Hall. If JOK comes back healthy, my gosh, that front seven.
It's not going to matter. They wanted the quarterbacks won't have time to throw.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter. I could be back there in the secondary.
How do you beat Pat Mahomes and Joe Burrow and all these guys? You got to Lamar Jackson.
Make them uncomfortable.
Make them uncomfortable. That's what beats them. That's what beat Pat Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of leaning Abdul Carter too if they get Aiyuk. I'm be honest, and I've kind of flipped this week on that.
Interesting.
Because my
you and I flip flopped. It's funny because I was saying Abdul Carter at the start of all this. And,
and I was more Travis, I didn't think the Aiyuk thing would really happen.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more realistic, and it sounds like Ayuk's open to coming here as well.
Yeah, because I think it really is going to happen. And here, I'll be honest, if Aiyuk wasn't coming here, I probably may still lean Travis barely, because not like Travis Hunter's some slouch.
No, of course not. I'd be happy with either of them. See, even if we get Aiyuk and we still pick Travis, I still wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't either, but I'd feel. I just think because you just covered it, like you just covered that position with Aiyuk, and you still got Jerry Jeudy. I think you want to get guys that just fill the roles after that. I don't want too many stars, if that makes sense. I don't want to. I just don't think that would fit. I just think you have a 1-2 punch, and you draft a guy. You still got Tillman who showed he can play. He can do what he can run inside, outside. That's all you need, and you still got Njoku. You're probably gonna take another tight end in the draft. So, if I get Aiyuk, I think it makes more sense to take Abdul Carter. I just think it because now and then at 33, if I could trade up, like she said, if I trade up in the first round, I'll go take Tyler Shough. I have no problem with that. I like the kid a lot. I think there's a lot of arguments right now about people saying, well, you shouldn't draft a guy based off of scheme fit and really more just upside and a good coach adjusts around a player, and I agree with that. But I think this kid fits both. It's not the talent's there. He's got a big arm.
I'll have to chart him. I'll be honest. I haven't even looked at him. I'll be 110% honest.
Everybody's saying it. Everybody's saying it that covers the sport. All the quarterback guys are all saying it too, which I find interesting. A lot of them have said that this guy could end up being the best quarterback in this draft. They said they wouldn't be surprised if he was the second best. Yeah, if he was the second quarterback taken, even. And when I watched the kid, Mike, and I watched the size, runs at 4.6, the arm, the ball placement. I mean, just who he was coached by matters to me. I think that matters because it helps you at the next level. And I think the experience, I would bring in him, and if you don't start him right away, I mean, I don't think Russell Wilson's out of the market yet. I know some people think it hasn't happened because nobody's offered him, but I just think because of the Aaron Rodgers thing. And I think that could actually favor the Browns. I think the longer he sits, the more cheaper deal they could possibly get him on. So, because I think the Giants are targeting Shedeur. And I think both New York teams, I think the Giants definitely are looking to get a big name. And I think Shedeur probably would be interested in that with his relationship with Malik Neighbors. And so, I don't know. I think it's all lining up to where I think Abdul goes number 2. We get Aiyuk. And I think they take that Shough kid. I'm telling you, man. I could totally see Kevin Stefanski falling in love with that kid. And I know for a fact Tommy Rees would love a kid like that. And from somebody I know that knows Tommy Rees, is familiar with him, that's his style of quarterback.
I think you just helped me figure out my next episode of The Professional Fan, Joseph. Deep dive onto Tyler Shough.
I'm telling you, man, the kid can play. I'm really impressed.
I
I
have to
get
chart him. I haven't charted him. I haven't
the only
even
thing
looked at
that's
any
scaring
tape,
people
to
away
be
with
honest.
him is the age, and because he's 25, which I don't think it's a big deal. I actually think it actually helps you nowadays. To be honest, I think the more games you play, the better. Just because, like I said earlier, a lot of how the development is nowadays. But also, I think that the injury history as well. I completely get that, and maybe that could scare a team away. But the kid put a full season together, and when you watch the tape, this kid, I mean, I don't. There's no throw. I don't. He's not far off from anybody. Like I'm just telling you, man. When you watch this kid, you're just kind of like, man, I didn't see the other two guys make that throw.
Well, I'll have
He's
to.
6'5",
chart him.
225, ran a
That's a big
4.6.
boy. I mean, here that's quarterback size. I mean, here I'm gonna have to chart him.
Yeah,
He's the quarterback out of Louisville, correct?
Tom McShay said today on the out of Louisville. Tom McShay said today on the Rich Eisen show, Tyler Shough might not be the best quarterback in this draft.
Wow.
And he's a West Coast kid too. He's from Arizona. Those West Coast Cali kids. West Coast Cali kids, all the West Coast kids are always they great quarterback development out there. Best in the country out west. And so that's why guys like Ohio State, they go recruit kids like Julian Saints from SoCal. So, but I just think he has all the makeup. Like I look at the background, who he was coached by, where he comes from, the size, the speed, the story. I like the story. I like a guy that was knocked down, but he's still here. I think that says a lot about him.
Right.
People may think that's corny or whatever. I don't. I think you want a leader on the field. Give me that guy. He's faced adversity, and he's already married too. So he's got a stable home life. He's got nice kid. Sounds like I've listened to him. I like the way he talks. I'm Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett. The more I watched Abdul this week, and I'm like, man, with Myles Garrett, my gosh, they would have wrecked the AFC North. That D line with I like Malik Collins. I think Mike Hall's gonna be good. I think a name nobody brings up. I mean, I'm a little biased because he was coached by my buddy, but I think Jawan Briggs could be a good rotational piece.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they got some other guys I think they'll bring in. I think you put that kid out there with Alex Wright, who you still got as well, Isaiah McGuire. I mean, that front seven, and if JOK can come back healthy, hoping he can come back healthy because we know how good he is.
Right.
That front seven, Mike, would be
it'd be insane.
Be one of the best in football. But those two, as good. I mean, that kid is a great prospect. Imagine Carter and Garrett. I don't know if you can find a better tandem than that.
No, it'd be up there, dude.
And I think Myles Garrett, I could totally see Myles Garrett wanting a veteran quarterback and also wanting a guy like that alongside of him to help him out.
Right.
And I think he showed up to that Russell Wilson meeting. I think that was a sign of what he wants. And I think they want that too. Now, I know some people think that's out, like I said, but I think they're just waiting patiently. And I think the longer it goes, I think that I might actually help the Browns get Russell Wilson or maybe a Joe Flacco. I wouldn't mind they brought back Flacco.
I wouldn't mind that either.
I wouldn't mind that. I think he can. And again, I think he would help that Shough kid out a lot. But I think whether it's Wilson or Flacco, one of those two guys, get him in here. Maybe Flacco, because I think if you take Shough, I think there's a good chance he could start. He'll start eventually next year at one point because he is 25. I think he could have that Bo Nix effect. So I don't know. That's my take on it. Sorry for the long-winded.
Oh no, no, that was here. That's a really interesting point. That's a really excellent idea. I just haven't looked at Tyler Shough, and that's gonna have to. Looks like we already got the next episode of the professional.
Well, and think of it: you get a quarterback, you get a franchise DN, and you get a receiver all in one.
Right. And you would have a plan from when Myles eventually retires. I mean, Abdul would be ready for his essentially first extension.
And you already have Taylor's replacement in Jenkins. And if you draft Shough and let's say you take a veteran quarterback like Russ Wilson or Flacco and you want to start them week one, I think it makes you a little more competitive than you were last year with Carter and Aiyuk with a veteran quarterback that's competent.
Right.
So,
no, I agree. I think
the only other option I could see, I know people talk about Joe Milton. What do you think of that?
Honestly, I think it's a little overblown. I mean, Joe Milton played one game. I mean, I get he looks great in the preseason. He looks great in practice. So did DTR. I'm not saying Joe Milton is on the same level as DTR. I'm just saying I think people are overblowing him just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had one good game. I see the upside with the kid. I like the kid, and I see the upside in the arm strength, but I just don't. I don't think he's gonna be ready to play right. I don't think he's as developed as some of the other guys you mentioned tonight.
Right.
I think once teams get 10, 12 games on him of tape, how to defend against him, then we'll find out what he is. But what is he? Was he a 6th-round pick?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, I think we had a pretty good show. Nice, quick, put to the point. Got everything we needed to get to out. We already have the next episode scheduled. That's going to be a deep dive into Louisville quarterback Tyler Shough. Could he be one of the best quarterbacks coming out of the 2025 NFL draft? But Joseph, why don't you tell them why they need to like and subscribe?
Yeah, like, subscribe, and share. You get content like this. I mean, tonight was just light work. I mean, but we're putting out shorts now. We're go look at those I put out today. We got great content from all different areas. We got my mom in the chat. Great job, Mike, she said.
Thanks, Joy.
We got people like Raul, my man Raul. He said he'd rather see Spurgeon win or Brian Hoyer. And then he said he misses the days of seeing Dwayne Bowe riding the exercise bike on the sidelines. I mean, Raul's always lighting up the comments. Shout out to you, Raul.
Classic.
But no, I mean, we have real conversations. We're real dudes, and we have a bigger panel than this we usually have on over my show. And we're going to have some special guests on coming up here down the road, some interviews and stuff away from sports. And I mean, like, subscribe, and share. We keep you up to date too. And this is a platform for you guys. We want you guys to come up here and get involved. We'll drop the link. You guys come up here and talk, give us your take. We keep it real. So it's called the Real Network, the Real Media. And keep it professional, Mike, right?
Always keep it professional. Never keep it sleazy. Always professional. But folks, I was the professional fan. I'm professional Mike. That's Joseph Latman. Thank you once again so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And Joseph, are you saluting? I'm saluting on my end.
Oh, no, you got your own intro. I'll do it for you.
And
as always, folks, stay professional.